Alrighty, so I'm doing this video to bitch and complain about Halo 4. Now I'm sorry I don't sound very good, I'm sick, but fuck it. I want to bitch about Halo 4 because it fucking has a stupid fucking story. And I know there's a lot of, well maybe not a lot, because pretty much most Halo players think Halo 4 sucks, which is a good thing. They're totally justified in thinking that the game sucks. I don't think it sucks, but it's definitely a shitty Halo game, and on its own, it's like an average shooter, like average. I wouldn't say it sucks, because, you know, it's not like that game Umbrella Corps or some shit, you know. It's not like, let me think of a really shitty shooting game. Come on, there's gotta be, Duke Nukem Forever. Yeah, there we go. That's a shit bag. Like, that game's funny and everything, but the gameplay is terrible, and oh god, compared to Duke Nukem 3D, it's just such a shitty Duke Nukem game. Anyway, that game is shit. I'd give that game like a 4 or a 3 out of 10. Halo 4, I would give that like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, somewhere around there. Maybe an 8, maybe if I'm feeling generous and some parts of the game aren't that bad, but overall it's pretty much a 6 or a 7, let's get real here. But I want to talk about the story of Halo 4 and why it's so fucking stupid. Now, like I said, there are some people that think that, oh my god, it's awesome, I love the story, Halo 4 has the greatest story ever. And that's fucking stupid. Number one, Joe Staten is no longer doing the story. Lee Wilson doesn't do the story. We got some guy from the Mass Effect games doing the story. And if you've ever played the Mass Effect games, the story's not that good. And a lot of the voice acting is fucking terrible in that game, and it just doesn't feel right. Like I know there's some, I'm going to piss off some Mass Effect fanboys, but let's get real here. Shepard is dull as fuck. I mean, he sounds like a robot half the time. Jesus Christ. Master Chief is basically some kind of cybernetic robotic soldier guy, and he sounds more lifelike than Shepard, you know? So anyway, oh, and also Mass Effect is produced by EA, so fuck that game. It's also a pretty boring game overall. Maybe 1 and 2 were decent, Part 3 sucked, and this new one coming out, Andromeda, that looks like trash. But anyway, that's the best you can get out of Mass Effect. But we're not talking about Mass Effect, we're talking about Halo 4 and why that game has such a shitty storyline. And the Mass Effect guy wrote it, and people think that it's genius. Some people think it's amazing. But most people think it's fucking stupid, and those people, at least, they got their head on their shoulders. You know, they know what the fuck they're talking about. This game, Halo 4, its story is not very good. I guess it's average. I think it's shit, and I'm going to explain why. Alright, first things first, right? Master Chief awakes from cryo sleep, and, oh, look at that. He has brand new spanking armor, and, I guess the player is left to believe that, oh, it's cool, this makes sense, don't worry. Cortana, she took the Master Chief's clothes off while he was sleeping and gave him new armor. Yeah, that's the only explanation, right? Well, guess what? That isn't the explanation. As a matter of fact, he hasn't woken from cryo or moved or anything since the end of Halo 3, so this is what you got, folks. You're expected to believe that magically somehow he has new armor. Without explanation whatsoever. No fucking explanation. They just changed the way he looks just to change the way that he looks. That's the only reason they did it. Fucking stupid. Fucking retarded. And apparently he forgot how to hold 2 guns in each hand, so dual wielding is out of the game. Now, of course, you can just, you know, chalk this up to, you know, oh, 343 wanted to change the gameplay. Oh, 343 just wanted to change the visuals. But then that leaves me to ask another question. Well, why the fuck did they do that in the first place? What was wrong with the way Halo looked? Nothing. Everybody liked it. What was wrong with the gameplay? Nothing. Everybody liked it. But no, they had to make the game look a lot different, and then they had to Call of Duty-anize the game, make it feel more like the COD title, you know, with all the multiplayer gimmicks they added, and Spartan Ops, Special Ops. I already talked about that shit in another video, but yeah, so that's the first thing that you notice that's totally fucked up. Also, Cortana looks a lot different. What's up with that, you know? She's like, I know I sound like a creeper nerd here, but she's like really attractive in this one all of a sudden, you know? It's like kind of weird, you know? Never really felt that way about Cortana before, but in Part 4, she's definitely got like that big fat ass, and her tits are popping out at you and everything, and it's crazy. Anyway, not a big deal. After that, let's see, where can we go from there? Let's get to the part where Master Chief awakens the Didact with Cortana. You know, like, okay, so she's spazzing out, she doesn't know what's what, and I guess she basically tells him to awaken the Didact. She thinks it's a way to get in touch with infinity or something, but in reality it just awakens the most evil asshole ever, the Didact, who apparently hates humans and hates everything really, and just is a complete fucking dickhead. And we don't really find out why in the game. You can look into backstory and stuff like that outside of the game to find out more about the guy, but overall you'll still be scratching your head in confusion as to why they the Forerunners apparently didn't like what he did. He went a little overboard back in the day, back in the ancient alien days, and they didn't like what he did. He apparently like composed a bunch of humans and turned them into Prometheans and did a lot of fucked up warlike shit, and they didn't approve of that. So they betrayed him, and they froze his body in this device called the Cryptum, this floating ball thing that would spare him from the firing of the Halo rings, but the Halo rings going off would kill off all the Forerunners, but he would be spared. And I sound like a fucking idiot because I'm reciting the most retarded script I've ever read. Like, this is fucking dumb. It makes no sense at all. Why would they kill themselves? Why would they spare the life of the Didact, who's a complete fucking asshole? It doesn't make any sense. It's completely fucking stupid. And once Master Chief and Cortana awaken this son of a bitch, he, of course, he's fucking crazy and starts doing some evil-ass shit. And so anyway, Master Chief, you know, he gets like lifted up into the air by the Didact, and the Didact starts preaching his insane evil rantings about what he's going to do and stuff. And Master Chief doesn't stand a chance, and then he throws Master Chief, and then there's this big boom thing that goes off, and then the next thing you know, Master Chief is on a ghost escaping, and then he goes through some portals. There's a lot of jumping through portals in Halo 4. It's like, oh, thank God for all these convenient portals. Saving our ass over here. Anyway, that shit's ridiculous. But if you, later on you keep playing, and turns out the Infinity gets dragged into it, this like 3.5-mile super carrier that the UNSC uses for nothing really. Honestly, the Infinity is pretty useless in these Halo games that 343 makes. I mean, honestly, the 343, the Infinity doesn't really do shit in these games. It's kind of funny that it even exists. Anyway, it shows up, and so Master Chief reunites himself with the UNSC. Palmer makes a fucking terrible joke. She has nothing to do with the storyline. He meets up with Lasky, and you wouldn't know anything about Chief and Lasky's relationship unless you watch that movie, Forward Under Dawn, which is a terrible movie, by the way. It's basically 90 minutes long, I think, maybe less, but 90% of the movie is Lasky being a little emo kid, little punk bitch, and at the very end you see Master Chief do a few cool things, but not really, and that's pretty much the movie, and it pretty much sucked. So anyway, Lasky is here, and he can be easily written out of the storyline. He only does one like decent thing for Master Chief. He helps him a little bit towards the end of the game. That's it. They easily could have, had some other character do it, or just have Master Chief help himself, because that would be even more badass. Because that's kind of why we love Master Chief, because he gets shit done on his own pretty much. Doesn't really need anybody's help. This guy is a one-man army, But 343 doesn't think that way. And then he has to work under Del Rio, the captain of the Infinity, and Del Rio is a complete fucking retard. They're going to go on some recon assessment mission. It's the Mammoth mission where you get to be on the Mammoth. And what's his name? Master Chief asks Del Rio what Force Recon assessment is up to or whatever, and Del Rio says some condescending shit to Master Chief and tells him that Force Recon would just be a waste of time and whatever. Anyway, because Del Rio doesn't do the Force Recon, in the very beginning of the mission, a bunch of Pelicans get fucking incinerated by some big-ass Forerunner laser thing. Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Because they didn't do any Force Recon, a lot of Ben just got killed. But then later on in the Halo 4 missions, there's a cinematic scene where Master Chief tells Del Rio that the Infinity needs to go after the Didact because they got him on the run. They can take him out now, which is a good idea. I mean, they were kicking the Didact's ass, so let's finish the motherfucker off, right? But instead of pursuing, Del Rio tells Master Chief that we need to live to fight another day, and that you know, we can't endanger our lives any further, or else more will die, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, oh, so now you care about the men? Because you didn't earlier. Just saying. So that's fucking retarded. And then they get into an argument, and Del Rio wants the Chief arrested, and the Chief is just like, fuck you, bitch. And he walks out of there, right? So what's the deal? He wants him arrested, but what the fuck? What do we expect to happen after this? You know, like, is he just like, fuck it, I changed my mind. Don't arrest him. Just let him walk around and do whatever. Oh, okay. So Master Chief then, gets a plane by Lasky, a Pelican, and Lasky helps him defeat the Didact. Eventually, at the end of the game, he gets to the Didact, and it's a quick time event to take out the Didact. It's pretty lazy, and Cortana becomes physical somehow. A nuclear bomb goes off in Master Chief's hands, and he lives somehow because Cortana did some kind of space magic thing with the hard light bridge that they were walking on, and apparently the hard light bridge technology is so advanced it'll stop a fucking nuke or some shit. So that's really hard to stomach. Take from that what you will. And then they're floating in space, and then they have their little romance thing, and then she fades away and disappears. And you really don't understand what the fuck that scene was all about or what was really going on, honestly. Like, was it a dream? Was she really physical? Like, how does that even work? Why was she alive but had to fade away? And I don't know. I don't get it. And then the very end of the game, they have the Didact, like, lecturing, and Master Chief comes back to Earth, and everyone is looking at him like, oh, Master Chief is here. Okay, sure, whatever, cool. And then they take his armor off at the end of the game. And, so they take his armor off at the end of the game. So shouldn't they, like, have interrogated Master Chief and locked him up, basically, because they want to know what the hell he went through and where he's been and everything. So how the fuck does he get his armor back in Halo 5? I mean, did they even explain that in Halo 5? Is there like a short story or a book that covers it? There probably is, but I'm sure the explanation is pretty fucking retarded. So anyway, that pretty much sums up my complaints about the Halo 4 campaign. I probably missed a few things about it that are also really fucking stupid. I try not to talk too much about the gameplay, because the gameplay is pretty shitty. I mean, the game expects you to use the light rifle for like over half of the fucking game. And a lot of the missions in the game are just Forerunner shiny levels where you just walk around on weird floaty platforms and stuff. Pretty weak. Pretty fucking weak. And of course, fighting the Prometheans is fucking boring as shit and frustrating compared to fighting the Covenant. So yeah, Halo 4's campaign fucking sucks. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Peace.